Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of Let's Be Real. On today's show, we're going to be covering an MCU star has been accused of sexual assault, the box office report for the weekend, my ladder for what should be the most anticipated films heading into 2024, the Rumoured Fantastic Four cast being reconsidered due to cast budgeting issues, Stephen Caple Jr. in talks to direct the next Transformers movie, which deals with that exciting end to Rise of the Beast, Spider-Man 2 PS5 game, releasing October 20th, and we've got more details to share about that. The new Margot, Robbie, and Ryan Gosling movie, which is coming soon. And then we're going to be discussing the full trailer for Yorgos Lanthimos Poor Things. Oh, and we're going to be finishing off with a Jake Paul movie. So strap in, get ready. It's going to be a good one. I'm James. I'm your host for today's episode. I have the privilege and honor to be joined once again by the mischievous, the devious. Nan, how are we doing, man?
You threw me off. I was getting I was waiting for my intro to come out, and you just changed your intro for how we usually introduce me. And I was like, wait, this is not what I'm used to.
I love seeing your anticipation to how I introduce you now, because I just switch it up every single time.
You do.
It's going to be a common thing moving forward. But yeah, before we get started, if you'd like us to cover any specific topics, just hit us up on Twitter, just flick us a DM. It may feature on our next episode. Otherwise, jump over to moviegames.com. We do our 4K movie reviews. We cover a lot of physical media stuff, a lot of box office things. We also do, obviously, rewards, cover award season, all that kind of stuff. If you enjoy the show, please subscribe, please share it. We do want to get on video eventually. So doing all that stuff on YouTube does help us. It does support us. And I promise you that we look better than we sound. So you want us on video. And also you guys can subscribe to our email newsletter to keep up to date with all of our content on a weekly basis. Just head over to moviegames.com to sign up to that. Thanks for anyone who is joining us today. Man, how's your weekend? Yeah,
It was good. Friday topped it all off.
Yes.
That's it, yeah.
Friday topped it all off?
Friday topped it all off. It started really well. The Blues won their quarterfinal match. They're into the semi-final.
Sports games, are we? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, of course. So now they're versing the Crusaders, who've been
in the final, right?
Yeah. Semi-final, who I have dominated the past competitions for X amount of years.
Yeah.
So we're versing them in the semis, and then my boys put out probably one of the best ones I've ever seen them do.
Warriors.
Not only did we smash the Raiders at Raiders, where we have a bad home ground, but it was also a big game for the Raiders because one of their players just had their 300th game for that one club. And then for that whole game, the first half an hour, the Warriors were just defending. We had a man in the bin and we didn't leak a single point. And the halftime score was 8-6. And everyone was just like, wow, their defense is amazing this year. Yeah. And if anyone that knows the Warriors, we're not known for our defense at all. If that was the Warriors' fault, the halftime score probably would have been 80-0 or something. But then we ended up coming back and winning at 36-14. We ended up smashing them. So, yep.
They're moving up the table.
They are.
We're 5th?
6 now.
6. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So we got a bye this weekend.
Yep.
This week. So.
Nice little break.
That's why
you wanted to hang out this weekend. It's got a bye. Perfect time to hang out with James.
It's convenient.
It is convenient, yeah.
Although I will be missing on the semi-final if we do.
Oh, that's just Super Rugby. Doesn't really matter. It's just anyone who's listening to this doesn't know what that is. I think what are those 10 fans? 11?
Give it some credit. 9.
Oh, you've been too generous there. You're watching anything else? TV shows?
Nah.
Movies? Just keeping up with the sports and stuff.
Sports and games, pretty much.
It's a pretty busy time for you, with ice hockey, NHL as well.
Yeah.
It's deep in its playoffs. They should be in the finals soon, or are they still in
they're in the finals.
Conference finals?
No, there's the Stanley Cup finals. They're in that now. Vegas, and I forgot who the other team was.
Vegas is always good.
Vegas is actually one of the most impressive beginning franchises I've seen in their first ever I'm pretty sure they made it into the Stanley Cup finals and ended up losing.
Yeah,
and their very first year off being established, so that's very impressive for them. But last I looked, I think Vegas was 3-1 up. Yep. I haven't checked recently,
right?
But actually, I probably should check.
Check it after this podcast.
Pretty sure the game is tomorrow, if my memory is correct. But yep, that's still going.
So they're very likely to win it
tomorrow. 3-1 Vegas. So that should be a good win for them if and they do get in, don't end up choking. But other than that, it's just been sports and just been playing games. I have been meaning to rewatch the Mission Impossibles, but I just keep forgetting.
Fair enough. I was actually watching the Transformers series, which I think I said that last week's podcast. I couldn't get through the fourth one. I tried twice because I'll just watch it like a little bit before bed. I won't watch all these in one sitting because I've seen them before a lot of times. But yeah, that fourth one, man, horrendously bad. And then by that point, I'm like, I'm not even going to try it with the fifth one. But it was nice watching the first three Michael Bay movies.
Yeah,
there's some fun in those movies. I think the first one's like good, but like there's fun in all of them, in my opinion.
And then just started getting more and more extravagant.
Yeah, what 4 and 5 are just horrendous. I can't even explain. And obviously the NBA Finals. It finished today with the Nuggets beating out Heat for a 4-1 lead, or a gentleman's sweep, if you like to prefer that term. So that was very exciting. That was my pick after the Sixers horrendously fell out of the playoffs. So it was nice to see Jokic and Jamal Murray get their first win. Good to see Denver getting their first ever win, ever championship. So it's good for that franchise. Yeah, I think they just have an amazing story. So
how long have they been around for?
I don't know, 40, 50 years. Yeah, they've been around for a while. But yeah, it's surprising how many teams haven't like even made an NBA final before. Because Celtics and Lakers, they own 34 of the titles.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And then you obviously got the Bulls and Golden State have quite a bit. Even Sixers, they've won 3 back in the 80s, and they're like top 10 and 1. So yeah. But no, that was cool. It's going to be a sad few months for me because I got nothing else to watch. I do have F1 to watch. It's just very inconvenient timing. But yeah, I'll be able to watch those races. So I guess that's pretty cool. It's just like once every 2 weeks. The good thing about basketball is always something on every single day. Yeah. I'm not going to get that anymore. But you know what we're going to get to? We're going to get some news now. We're going to get to stuff that I'm kind of sick of talking about. I debated even putting it in here, but I felt like we should offer a commentary on it. Tanok Herta. Is that how you pronounce his name?
I have no idea. He's the guy that plays Namor.
Yeah. He plays Namor. He's apparently meant to be a pretty big MCU figure moving forward into this next saga. So he was accused of sexual assault. It's just an accusation that was mentioned quite a while ago and has been doubled down on it. I'll get into the details in a bit, but we're just going to offer a bit of brief commentary on the MCU film industry side of things. We're not going to get into is she lying? Is she telling the truth? Is he lying? Is he telling the truth? Kind of thing. We don't play that kind of politics here. When we do make, I guess further discussions on this, it will be when, Marvel, Disney, they've made a conclusion on his future with the MCU, or his career's impacted, or if, ends up going to court and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think, the Jonathan Majors one, that's another thing that's been like, there's always little details trickling out. So we're just going to wait and see what the verdict is and then kind of discuss from there. These things often have a very long tail to them. So, strap in. You just know that Marvel's, they're in the they're just having a PR disaster.
It's like taking a page out of Warner Brothers' book.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. But yeah, apparently he was accused of sexual assault from his ex-partner. And Herta, he responded through his IG story, saying that it was entirely consensual at all times, as countless others can attest to that. Throughout it was a loving, warm, mutually supportive relationship. He states that after it ended, Elena began to misrepresent their interactions both privately and to groups of mutual friends. So he hired a legal team a few months ago to shut down these claims. But, Elena recently, she went onto a podcast and told these claims and then doubled down on it again on Twitter. So again, we're going to focus on the MCU and film career side of it. So yeah, what do you think is going to go down here with the whole MCU thing? Namor, He's meant to be a pretty prominent figure moving forward.
He is. It's a shame as well because we've only seen him once, and he's like quite a big or quite an anticipated sort of character people have been wanting to see. And now these allegations come out and whatnot, so it like sort of like hinders that character and that actor as well. What I think Marvel will do is I think they're going to do exactly what they're doing with Jonathan Majors right now and just sitting and waiting. I don't think they're going to do anything drastic or whatnot, but I just think it's like I said before, they're getting into that Warner Brothers territory of controversy at the moment. And whatnot. Their quality in films is still going to stay the same, you know, if they stick around. Those two actors, or particularly this one, because I think he was a pretty good Namor as well in the film. I think we thought he was a highlight of Wakanda Forever. But I don't think, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he's been announced for any other future Marvel projects.
Not that I know of. It'd be in something like Secret Wars, no doubt.
Yeah, or maybe whenever they announce for Phase 6. They probably would be announcing stuff for him in there. So we'll just have to wait and see what is in that. But it's quite hard to discuss, considering he's not really part of any future stuff. Maybe Secret Wars, but the Secret Wars, they're going to have so many characters and whatnot.
They can just throw them away.
They can just throw them away, or like do a very subtle, like, you know, recast, or something like that. It's quite easy.
Do you think they could get away with a recast? Or?
I think they could easily get away because he's only been in one project. He was quite a significant sort of character in Wakanda Forever. But Jonathan Majors, they've like this whole entire next few phases have been built around him. He was prominent in Loki, prominent in Quantumania, and prominent in season 2 of Loki as well. So that is a bigger hurdle for Marvel to jump. But I think recasting Namor, they can just do it very easily. Like, don't announce any other projects with them, have them Secret Wars, but be like, oh, it's a variant, and recast another actor, or something, and bring them into this universe, and done, easy.
Easy. Well, it's gonna be interesting to see how they handle it, particularly if these things end up being true. Both for Tenoch Huerta and Jonathan Majors. I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do on the Jonathan Majors part. I do believe that, you know, this role can be recast pretty easily. I thought he was good as Namor. I didn't really care for his role in the movie at all. I didn't even really like the way they handled that civilization or that world.
The underwater world?
Yeah. Atlantis?
Antlan?
See, I don't even remember it. That's how like a little bit memorable it is. Just felt like Aquaman, really. But yeah, I don't really know what they can do, and it is a bit hard at this point in time to, you know, have any kind of judgment on you know, what's happening here. All I can say is that, you know, Disney, Marvel, do the whole Jonathan Majors thing. Just wait this out, see what happens. You know, I mean, accusations are accusations. They should be treated very seriously, and you know that they should have a full-on investigation and determine what's happening here. But I think you need to wait for that investigation to take place, wait for further information to come through before really, you know, kind of ending this person's career or, you know, dismissing a false claim, if that's what it is. But yeah, the PR nightmare for Marvel is a really bad look right now. Do you think they should do like better vetting checks? Because once this was announced, his old tweets started surfacing, kind of like anti-feminism kind of tweets. And now people are angry about that as well. So when they bring in new people to star in these roles, should they do quite a very thorough vetting check to avoid these situations?
Yeah, probably. But then at the end of the day, it's are you casting a person or are you casting an actor who can do the role justice? Obviously, I'm not supporting either thing. I'm just asking the question, you know? I mean, whichever actor or actress is best for the role, they should really get it, you know, because they'll be able to do the role justice. But they definitely, as in the higher studio execs, definitely have a due care to, you know, do a background check to make sure, like, it's just pretty much like applying for a job for a CV. You're the best person for the job, but hey, you might be a drug dealer or something. Yeah,
like reference checks.
You know, reference checks, you know. So it's something like that. And obviously, if you're a drug dealer and you're applying for a job, employer's not going to hire you. So same thing can be taken into this.
Yeah.
Maybe they should. In regards to what that process is, that's probably for them and their system, but that probably should be done at least at a lower level. And then if, say, something like Kang, if they're going to plan on like making him the next few phases, that's when they go more in depth with their checks and whatnot.
Check if it's all good, yeah. I think this is just like the it's bound to happen when you have such a massive franchise. You're going to have bad apples that come through.
Yeah.
So, you know, the PR team kind of just has to be ready for it. They get the lawyers out and whatnot. You know, they obviously can't be playing that role if the stuff is confirmed to be true, because you don't want someone who's done that and confirmed to have done that being in these roles and being in your product pretty much. We saw what they've done with Ezra.
I was about to say, Brothers. I mean, they have done stuff with Ezra, you know.
They have, but I don't think we'll see Ezra as Flash again. No Flash 2 has been written, but I just don't think they would risk it. A lot of people still want him to be accountable for his actions. So I think they handled the whole Flash situation, at least the press tour and all that kind of stuff, quite well with him. You okay?
Yeah, I was about to move my chair, but you're talking, so I was like, "Oh, just wait."
What are you doing?
Like, there we go.
Squatting. It's like trying to pop a squat.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think you massively made me lose my thoughts.
You're talking about how Warner Brothers handled
Ezra. Yeah. He was at the premiere today. I don't know if you've seen any videos or photos of that, but yeah, he did I saw he did one interview. But yeah, he's just there for photos and to be there to support the film. But yeah, I don't know how Marvel does this. It's going to be very interesting moving forward.
Guess we'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see. It's going to be interesting. You know what's also interesting? It's the box office results for the weekend. So, at number 1, Transformers Rise of the Beast opened to 61 million. Number 2, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, 55.5 million. At number 3, The Little Mermaid at 23.1 million. At number 4, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 at 7.2 million. And at number 5, The Boogeyman at 7.1 million. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on these results? Any surprises there?
Yeah, Transformers, considering I didn't even know they released until you told me yesterday.
Yeah, we get it 2 weeks after the US.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Transformers was a little bit surprising. I mean, I know that was going to be bigger than big box office, but it wasn't really expecting 60 million. I was expecting something around about that 50 to 55 mark.
Yeah.
Especially when it's up against Spider-Man in its second week as well. And like praise that film's getting. On to Spider-Man, the fact that it's almost like 5 million shy from taking up the first spot is really good as well.
Yeah.
Goes to show word of mouth is going around quite well. I don't know the percentage of the drop, but you can probably...
It's 55%.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Really. So yeah, that's really good.
54%, sorry. Yeah.
So I think that's going to chug along nicely, and obviously with all the positive reviews and whatnot that's going to come out, we're just going to keep pushing it towards
yeah, it's actually it's surpassed the worldwide total of the first one already.
Yeah, how good.
Yeah. Crazy, yeah.
Little Mermaid, I'm actually surprised it's still pulling 23 million.
Yeah, it's like I said in last week's podcast. You know, it dropped pretty heavily, and we were both surprised by that. And I said we'll have to wait to see in the third week. Usually, it stabilizes, and as this week happened, it did stabilize. Dropped 44%, that's a strong drop, or like a good drop.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that it's that good, but I knew that it would stabilize a little bit over this third week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still surprised about that 27 million though. I was expecting something around about the
23 million.
Oh, 23.
Yeah.
I was expecting something under 20. Guardians though, that's been out for, I swear, for yonks.
Yeah.
And it's fourth.
Yeah.
That's doing good. Boogeyman has knocked off Fast X. I know Fast X is available on digital very soon.
It's out. I'm pretty sure it's out now.
Is it?
I don't know, but yeah.
About 4 weeks in?
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous.
That's crack up. So
yeah,
but nah, I think it's a good weekend box office, and just goes to show that you might have a very good opening weekend, but if something else comes out, you're probably going to lose that top spot.
Yeah,
and we might see this across all summer.
Pardon?
We'll see this across all summer.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting. I mean, it's already pretty much like a bloodbath, like because what do we got this week? Well, you got Elemental, we got The Flash coming out, and then you got Transformers on its third week. You got Spider-Man on, Transformers on its second week, Spider-Man on its third, Little Mermaid on fourth. It's a very intense time.
Yeah,
it's going to be very interesting to see how it all balances out. The time between the Mission Impossible, Barbie, and Oppenheimer period is what I'm very excited for. That weekend is going to be very interesting. But we'll get to more of that when it comes. But yeah, Transformers just opened much higher than I thought. The tracking showed between 30 and 40 million. And I was telling people, no, it's going to open high. It's Transformers. It's just how the fans go. And then obviously word of mouth was obviously propelling it a little bit further. And, an A- cinema score, it may not have such bad drops that the other ones tend to. I do think this will, it will drop similar to Fast X, just won't be as bad.
Yeah.
And I don't think it'll be on digital in a couple of weeks before we get it in New Zealand. Yeah, but I think 61's a great opening. Got about 171 worldwide opening. I think it got around 40 million in China, which is the second biggest Hollywood opening since COVID. Second to Fast X, funnily enough. I wrote about this in the long range forecast that they're very similar franchises in how they operate at the box office. So expect very similar kind of tales to both their performances. They will quite kind of mirror each other there. I think it could push for a 500 million total. I'd be skeptical to see if it lasts. It really depends on how it holds up in China. But yeah, it's a positive sign. Despite the 180 to 200 million price tag on it, doesn't have 340 million budget like Fast X, so Paramount can be a little bit pleased with these results. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, I actually expected a better or like a higher amount.
It's like in the 60s or 70s.
No, not 70s. Have been too good. Around 60 or so. I expected to drop around 50%, not 54%. Just word of mouth has been insane, but yeah. You got Transformers coming in there, and that kind of does target, kind of the same demographics as Across the Spider-Verse. With obviously everything else out, it's going to be weakened by everything. 55 on a second weekend is still fantastic. And the fact that it's at like 225 million already, you can see it's getting to 350, perhaps 400 million. I always say that the third weekend is where you're really going to see where things can really where they're on pace to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if it gets 30 million, 30 to 40 million in this next third weekend, yeah, you could be looking up to 400 million. But this weekend should be interesting at the box office because I think Elemental's tracking around 30 to 35 million. If Spider-Verse beats Elemental opening weekend, that's gonna be news. That's gonna be very interesting.
Do you think it will?
No, I don't think it will. I think it's unlikely, but I think it's possible. I don't see any hype for Elemental, despite reviews getting better. I think it's like nearly 80% on Rotten Tomatoes now. So hopefully that drives some word of mouth that can get, more people into those seats. And yeah, you pretty much said everything about Little Mermaid and Guardians and Boogeyman. I think Boogeyman dropped 42% in second weekend. It's a horror movie.
That's pretty good.
That's very good.
It's a horror movie that's playing out of season as well.
Yeah. It's not the season of when, and yeah, it's like mixed through all this really dense kind of competition. But I guess it's like counter programming in that sense. When groups want to see that, and then there's always the two that want to see the horror movie or something. So
it's actually pretty smart from like a horror film and perspective to like release it outside that window that horror season.
Yeah.
Because obviously if you release something in the horror season, it's gonna be dense.
Yeah,
everyone wants to go see it, but like if you just have it as a random thing, then you got to fill it back there if cinemas are sold out.
Yeah, exactly, and that's probably what's happened here. Transformers, Spider-Man, Little Mermaid, everyone's seen those, and then you get the stragglers going to Boogeyman and Fast X.
Yeah,
Fast X had a good drop, 45%. So it's the best drop so far. And it's going to drop like a rock now because
it's on digital.
It's on digital, which is just crazy to me. But yeah, it's going to get more interesting at the box office. This weekend should be good. All right, we're going to do something now, a new segment, which is my ladder for the most anticipated film for 2024. Now, it's a ladder, so that's the beauty of it. It's not a list, because a list is more definitive. It's basically 1 to 5, which I'm just doing. The ladder is 1 to 5, pretty much. With a ladder, things can change. Things can go up the ladder, they can go down the ladder. They can fall off the ladder and walk away, you know? So this is something I'm going to do whenever I'm hosting this kind of thing. Every now and again, because we get new information, a trailer will come out that our excitement goes through the roof, or it may look bad. Things can get delayed. So many things change up as we lead into the next year. So this is a fun little segment. So basically and this is not what I'm saying I'm most excited for. This is not my list. I am saying what people should be most excited for. What has the most reason to get excited when it comes to these movies? So I'll lay it on you now. All right. So the things that missed out, they're not on the ladder.
Right.
They're just standing there. They're waiting in line. They're waiting their turn.
They're waiting to climb.
They're waiting to climb. I need to see more. I need to hear more. And only 5 people can fit in the ladder. There's not much space. So Kung Fu Panda 4, you're out, buddy.
No!
You got an awful director who makes some of the worst animated movies of all time. I'm not even looking forward to you. You might even make my least anticipated. Goodbye. A Quiet Place Day 1 nearly made the ladder. You know who it's directed by?
No.
The director of Pig. You remember that movie?
Yeah.
The Nicolas Cage movie?
Yeah, it's a good movie.
A fantastic movie. Amazing. And now he's doing this. And the cast is great. Joseph Quinn, Alex Wolff, Lupita Nyong'o. About the day 1 of The Quiet Place, like whatever happened there.
The event.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds good. That's good talent. That's good cast. I'm looking forward to that one. It's down Deadpool. Have you been seeing the rumors about Deadpool, the original X-Men cast, rumored to come back? Yep,
I have.
Halle Berry. I was about to say Bailey there for a second. I'm getting used to that one now. With the Storm haircut apparently. So we'll have to see what happens with that. Nothing's confirmed, so I can't be excited about it. Neither can other people be excited about it. Obviously, Hugh Jackman. People are going to be excited about that. Good to see him back in the role. I don't think people should be excited for that aspect alone because Logan's a perfect send-off. Or near the perfect send-off, I guess. But yeah, no, Deadpool 3 does not make it simply because we've seen too much of Deadpool. And I need to see where it's going. It needs to justify bringing all these people back. And I think we have to wait for a first trailer or something for us to really get excited about it.
Yeah.
Something else doesn't make it. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. It's not directed by Wes Anderson. It's directed by Wes Ball.
Wes Anderson never directed it.
I know he didn't direct it. But if Wes Anderson was directing it, I'd be excited for it. It would probably be number 1. No, it'd be top 5. It'd be on the ladder. He'd be climbing. But
if Matt Reeves was there, it would be on the ladder, right?
Yes. It would be a massive contender to be a ladder. It'd be pushing and shoving, getting his way to the front. But yes, great franchise. Caesar's gone, and so is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Goodbye. What didn't make it? Jordan Peele. 2024 Untitled Movie. That is the title of it right now. There's no title. All I have is Jordan Peele. I'm sure he has a chance. He might get on the ladder at some point in the future. We have to see what happens. Ballerina doesn't make it. Who directed that? Oh, it's the guy who directed Live Free and Die Hard, some of the Underworld movies.
Oh, actually?
Yeah, all bad stuff. And then I think for the last 5 to 10 years, it's just been directed random CBS kind of TV series.
That happens my hype now. I thought it was the same John Wick director.
See, I'm doing my digging here on why people should be excited for these movies or not. And honestly, I don't know if I trust Anna de Armas to handle her own on an action movie. She's not Charlize Theron. Gladiator 2 misses the mark. Obviously my heart and prayers go out to the people that were injured in the stunt that happened the other day. 7 people in hospital from it, which is pretty serious. Doesn't usually happen these days. So yeah, hopefully they're okay. But yeah, Ridley Scott hit or miss. I don't know if Gladiator 2 can work or Gladiator can work as a sequel. We'll have to see. Inside Out 2. What was that? Monsters University. Cars 2. Finding Dory. I need to say more. Fuck off. I just don't like Disney sequels, and Inside Out is not a sequel-worthy franchise.
No, it's not.
Like, you're just gonna put the same things in someone else's brain. And here's one: Joker 2. What I don't know what the title is. Folia do, or I don't know how to pronounce it.
It's French.
But Folia Away, you're not number 5. You're not in the top 5. You're not on the ladder because actually I don't have a reason. The other stuff was just too good to pass up. I am looking forward to it. Once I see more, he may start climbing. We'll just have to see. All right, so who's at the bottom of the ladder? Who's climbing it? Avatar 3.
Oh, you put him that low, eh?
This is not my list. This is for everybody. I want everybody. Actually, I'm just gonna. I need to grab a drink. My throat's getting dry.
Keys are there.
All right. So yeah, Avatar 3. Well, we have.
Do you just want me to tell a joke or something?
Yeah, no, I'm good. Avatar 3. There's a lot of people looking forward to it. There's a lot of people still skeptical about the franchise. Understandably so. But we get to see James Cameron play with fire. And that's kind of cool. He's going on to the third element here. And that is a reason to be excited because, hey, it's a new thing that can be captured on CGI and visual effects and all that stuff. What was the main draw of Avatar: The Way of Water? Was the water. So I think, having the fire kind of side of things, people are going to be really looking forward to that aspect of it. Now there's a story in here. There's a cliffhanger-ish kind of ending to it, so people are going to be wanting to see what it was, and it's justifiably so, since, the series is meant to get way more crazier as it goes on. It is not higher, and it can't be higher, because it's still the third one out of a 5-parter.
Mm-hmm.
So there's still a lot more to be desired. We'll have to see how that franchise goes on. Number 4, Mickey 17.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Justified, right? We've got Robert Pattinson and Bong Joon-ho.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even going to say anymore. That sounds fucking awesome.
Mm.
All right. Number 3, Furiosa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. George Miller. He's a fantastic director. Great visual style. Mad Max is his baby. He's going to be good in it. Anya Taylor-Joy.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe she'll be amazing in it, especially under George Miller. Chris Hemsworth just said that his time on set was the best he's ever had. I'm very excited for it. Everyone should be excited for it. This is going to be an absolute banger. Number 2, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. Oh, that climbed very high after Across the Spider-Verse, because it ended on a direct cliffhanger straight to this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's going to be released next year. I certainly hope it is, but
better.
There is plenty to be excited for this movie. I don't really need to say it. Of just following on from what we saw and carrying on that same energy and tone.
And if you haven't seen it, go fucking see it.
Yeah, everyone else has seen it. Hurry up. You have no excuses anymore. And number 1, at the top of the ladder, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 2. I mean, some may call me controversial by putting it above Beyond the Spider-Verse, but I don't really think it is. It's the 8th movie of a franchise. Mission Impossible has been great ever since the 4th one back in 2014. I think it's before 2014. No, yeah, it's way before that, actually. It's been great for a long time now. And it's built up the story so long. Obviously, we haven't seen Dead Reckoning yet. Once we see that, he could go down the ladder. But right now, he's sitting up there on the top. And, sitting up there, Tom Cruise, because he's a stuntman. Ladder's very tall.
He won't take that bump off. He'll just do it.
Yeah, so that is what I think people should be most excited for heading into next year. Who should go up and down the ladder? Who should be on the ladder? Does anyone be kicked off the ladder? What's your thoughts?
I'm just trying to think of what else comes out next year that you haven't really mentioned. I do see where you come from Mission Impossible, but I just think the way we felt about Spider-Man and the way everyone is feeling about Spider-Man, I think that should be the top spot. I mean, yeah, Mission Impossible is like a 2 decades, almost 3 decades sort of franchise that's coming to an end. But
yeah, that's the thing.
But goddamn, the quality of the first 2 Spider-Verse films is probably it's on track to become the best trilogy of all time.
I did debate it there. Yeah.
I also see I actually do like this list. Like, I don't think I can replace anything with anyone. I would just like change stuff within it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mickey 17 should be above Furiosa.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's Bong Joon-ho.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic director, coming off an Oscar win. And then you also have Robert Pattinson as well, who's a very good actor as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember the concept for the film, but it's definitely a very, very interesting one.
Yeah.
And Furiosa, I mean, spin-offs are hit and miss, but the fact that
it's George Miller coming back.
George Miller's coming back, that does restore faith in it.
Mm-hmm.
If Charlize Theron was Furiosa, 100%.
You don't like Anya Taylor-Joy?
I do like her, but like Furiosa, like the reason why Furiosa got a spin-off is because of Charlize Theron.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Avatar 3, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Deserves to be where it is. But no, that's a good list. Everyone note those 5 on your on a spreadsheet, and come a couple weeks time, we'll see if it gets updated.
Well, yeah, we'll see. I mean, Dead Reckoning Part 1, that might change things. Yeah, it was hard to put Spider-Man and Mission Impossible neck and neck. Like, I didn't know which one to do. But yeah, I thought Mission Impossible.
What's very interesting is that 4 of those 5 are all franchise films. There's only one original.
They are. I did my digging in terms of the original kind of stuff. And again, this is why it needs to be updated, because these things usually get announced quite late in the year. So, you know, if I hear news that Christopher Nolan's gonna make a movie about the center of the sun and throw a camera in it, that's going to number 1 straight away.
And because you know what, he would actually go to space and he'll throw a fucking camera at the sun.
Exactly, yeah. So, but if something like that gets announced, then yeah, it definitely has a chance to make it in there, like get in there pretty straight away. I mean, Jordan Peele was mentioned, and that's just his name. Yeah. So,
and it speaks to that director's film quality. Like, he's released 3 very good, high quality films.
Yeah, exactly.
That name alone should get you interested.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be very interesting to see how this goes. I almost should make this ladder. I think 10 people should be on this ladder, because it was very hard to make that, to make some of those people miss out. But we're going to move on now to a movie that's coming in 2025. We're not doing that ladder, not yet. Fantastic Four. There's some news that I heard about today, a nice little rumor. Fantastic Four is filled with rumors at the moment. But the Fantastic Four cast apparently was all but nearly confirmed. Some reliable sources have, multiple of them had said the same thing of who was in each role. Adam Driver is Mr. Fantastic. Margot Robbie was Invisible Woman. Paul Mescal was the Human Torch, and David Diggs was the Thing.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the cast have all asked for massive pays. I think it was upwards of 20 million each.
Jesus.
So 80 million just for the cast alone. And now Marvel is, I don't know if that's the exact figure. That's just the rumor at this stage. I think obviously Adam Driver and Margot Robbie could command a lot of money, rightfully so. Especially Margot Robbie. After the Barbies, she's going to be a very even more famous than she is now. So yeah, upwards of 80 million in just cast. Marvel have apparently, they're reconsidering who should be the final cast. Should they be new faces that we can, cut down on cast and spend more elsewhere? So they're looking at that, and yeah, I mean, what direction do you think they should go? And at the end of the day, should it be new faces or prominent actors who put the final ink in the paper?
Damn, I had something to say, but then you threw that side question at me. I'm going to say what I'm saying, and then I'll address that side question.
You'll find it.
I think, and I said it before on this podcast already when I discussed No More, you cast a role for the best actor and actresses for that role.
Mm-hmm.
If they think Adam Driver and Margot Robbie is the best for that role, for their franchise, for however long it is, give them the money.
But you could just say that, put Leonardo DiCaprio on every single role ever.
Yeah. How fucking good. More DiCaprio.
Okay, further to that, we'll get to my question. If it's 80 million in cast budget, you sacrifice elsewhere.
To be fair, their visuals are already pretty shit. Do
you want them worse?
Well, I mean, they can't really they can get better on their visuals, but I think, we've already seen how bad it is. We're somewhat accustomed to it.
Yeah.
Except for Guardians of the Galaxy, I mean, that was an outlier.
Yeah.
But I think, like, where else are they going to put the money towards? I mean, production, sound,
Yeah.
So they might as well give it to the talent who would actually, do the role justice for however long contracts they do.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't want, for Fantastic Four, I did not want any familiar faces in it, really. Like, I wanted, this is like the perfect time to, like, bring new actors into the Hollywood frame. So, you can cast anyone, They can't even be somewhat famous, like Jodie Comer or Samara Weaving, that they have a name, but they're not very popular.
They're not like a global brand yet.
Yeah, perfect way to build them up, So those type of, would you consider them like C-listers? Right, that category, the
Samara Weaving probably C-lister, Jodie can't remember.
In between C and B.
They're probably C-listers, yeah. A is quite a high mark to get to.
Yeah, so around at that C-lister type mark for actors and actresses.
Yeah.
It's a perfect opportunity to just, build Hollywood, rather than franchise, but I guess, Disney's Disney and all they care about is themselves, so yeah.
They'll do whatever they need to do.
Exactly, yeah. But I'm surprised about the other two. Their names do sound familiar and I can't think off the top of my head.
Yeah.
If I've seen them in anything, but the fact that they're commanding...
Little Mermaid for David Diggs. Sebastian.
Oh, yeah.
And Paul Mescal, I think he got a Oscar nomination recently for After Sun, so...
Right,
yeah. He's talented.
Yeah, I think most of the money should go to Adam Driver and Margot Robbie because they're already well-established names and whatnot, and they will essentially be the leads.
Yeah.
But those other two, that they're not quite up to that level in terms of acting.
I don't know if it was 20 million each, but I just know it's around 80 million in cast budgeting. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Which is pretty crazy. But yeah, I disagree with the point that it's best person for the role. Because I think when it comes to roles that, there's a lot of bests out there. You could have at least 10, 20 people play a role just as good or nearly as good, with the argument of some people that just make it fully their own, like Rob Downey Jr. and as Iron Man or whatever. It's a balanced effort. The visual effects in Marvel, they are already shit, but it's not like I'm saying, oh, just sacrifice more of the VFX money, because then it was just going to look unfinished to the point of horrendous. And I don't want that. It needs to be a balanced effort, which correlates to, your second point, which I do agree with. It should be new faces. And at this point, you don't have to pay them much. You can just pay them 1 million or 2 million at most, and then just get them in there and, just have them, run the show, get them to, establish themselves within Hollywood, within the MCU. And it's just going to be more fresh to see that rather than seeing Adam Driver and Margot Robbie in an MCU movie. That's going to be a bit weird. So having fresh new faces, I think it's a really good fit for Fantastic Four inside the MCU, because you're reestablishing, quite a big franchise, or one of the biggest, kind of superhero families. And, you want that to be, it should just be all fully new rather than having all this other, baggage to it.
Yeah.
Even though they would do it well. I know Adam Driver, even Paul Mescal, who's going to be in Gladiator 2, I think he would be amazing as well. Even David Diggs as the Thing. It sounds like a really great cast, and I would have no problem with it. But not at the expense of, $80 million. I think that's just a bit absurd for a first movie. And just look at where it can go. Fantastic Four is obviously going to be very big, very prominent, and it's going to be a long-term game plan, which is, I think, a reason why we support the new faces in it, because it's a long-term contract, really.
And it's easier for them to sign a multi-year deal.
Exactly. And look at the money that Robert Downey Jr. commanded over his time. He didn't start off with earning much. I don't know how much it was, but it wasn't much at all from Iron Man. And then he went on to get to that, 50 million mark for an Avengers movie. If it's new faces and if they're that good and they get that franchise to that heights, then they can really start to command the money that Margot Robbie and Adam Driver are already asking for here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I do want best for the role, but if you can find new faces that can play it just as well, then go ahead. That's probably the better move, in my opinion. Yeah. Moving on to a movie that we saw last night, Rise of the Beasts. Favorite movie of the year so far? We're close to it.
100%.
That ending. Actually, there's been a lot of great movies this year with really interesting endings.
There actually has been.
Yeah. It's like always cliffhangers and just really interesting things. Now we can't talk about spoilers it's been after the weekend. All right, we're going to talk about some Transformers spoilers here.
Can we? Because that's only in the States. What about worldwide? And it's only the first weekend as well.
Yeah, it's split up internationally. Okay, yeah, we can't talk about spoilers, but the sequel to Rise of the Beast, will be dealing with the ending of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you that haven't seen it, we're not going to spoil it here, but go see it. It's cool. I like the idea. I'm excited for the idea. I genuinely am. I don't know how the quality is going to be, but I'm really interested to see how it's going to turn out.
Yeah.
And to that, Stephen Caple Jr., the guy who directed Rise of the Beast, he directed Creed 2 as well. Mm-hmm. He's going to be doing this movie, the sequel to it. So, what do you think about that?
I think it's good. I'm pretty sure we discussed on our review yesterday that I think because there was a comment mentioned how it's got part of a trilogy.
Yes.
And I said that will work if there's a clear vision for it, so everything's planned out and it goes according to that plan rather than just doing spin-offs or just, playing it by ear. And the fact that they're bringing in the same director that did Rise of the Beast clears to show that, they do have a plan in mind for how they want this part of the franchise to go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually pretty excited for this. This is actually really good news because it shows that they're taking steps to make Transformers a better franchise.
Yeah.
Because usually it gets shat on so bad because of the quality. So they're clearly trying to rectify their wrongs and whatnot. And he's a good director, he did Creed 2. That wasn't probably as good as Creed 1, but it was still a very good film. And Rise of the Beast is a pretty good film as well, considering it's like his first big blockbuster franchise as well. I'm all for it. As long as, they have a plan, they let him stick to what he wants to do.
Yeah.
With his vision, and I think we could see the rejuvenation of the Transformers franchise.
I agree. I think it's funny that this news came out after that, we saw that Transformers was successful over the weekend. So it's clear that there's a vision happening, but they were waiting to see whether this could be financially viable.
Yeah.
So I kind of do like how Paramount has played this because, you just can't be announcing all these movies and then the first one bombs and then just cancel all of them. It's just not fair to the audience.
Like the Monsterverse or something?
The Monsterverse. Remember? Oh, that was the Mummy and stuff like that.
Yeah. Or the Dark Universe. I think that's what it was called.
I mean, don't talk about all those Star Wars movies that have been announced and in the works. D&D's doing one. Apparently Tiger's doing one. Everyone's doing a Star Wars movie at this point.
If you're a director, just apply for a Star Wars film.
You'll get
they'll make one for you.
Yeah.
They'll go out of their way and be like, okay, cool, you're doing this.
Yeah. And then it'll never happen. So yeah, I like that strategy from them. As you said and covered off quite well there. It was, it's good that they have sort of a vision and a direction, and you're going to have a director who's a little bit more comfortable with this franchise now, with the action and the style and stuff like that, so he can really apply that. Without talking about the ending in detail, do you think that he can, because the style and action will have to be different in the next one if they're going to pull it off, do you think he's capable of blending that kind of stuff together?
Does it have to be different?
It's different because of the other aspect that will be involved in it.
So, sorry, yeah. I mean, I guess you can separate the two, You can have certain characters and that visual style, and then certain characters and that visual style similar to Transformers 1.
Yeah.
You know how it's somewhat split up?
Mm-hmm.
They could easily do that. But it will be cool to see him be a bit more creative, I mean, we somewhat saw him do that at the end in the final act of Rise of Beast. They put certain character into something and it looked weird, but it somewhat worked and it made it different and interesting. So if he keeps doing stuff like that, keep things interesting, then cool, all for it. There is a way to make it work, but we just need someone to, unlock that.
Yeah. Don't know if he'll be the guy for the job, and I do think this there's something about this franchise that really struggles to create really high quality films. As I discussed on the review last night, I don't know the secret ingredients to making the Transformers movie work, but they're on the right path. It's a step in the right direction. I believe having Stephen Caple Jr. as the director for the next one, I think it's the right move, and hopefully there is a plan in place.
Yeah,
and one vision. Okay, we'll move on now to something very interesting by Movie Gains. Some games gains.
we got movie games, we got sports games, we got games. Get ready for theater games and fashion games.
Oh yes, I actually went to a theater production recently, so I could talk about that.
Yeah, that's more you than me. I don't like musicals, so.
Yes, so Spider-Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
Thought we could discuss this one. I thought it'd be interesting, especially on a slow news week. And this is something I think we're both pretty excited for. We both played the first one. Pretty sure we both played the Miles Morales game.
I borrowed yours. Thanks.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. I completely forgot about that. But yeah, I think we both really enjoyed them. We felt like the Miles one was more of a DLC in terms of story.
Definitely.
But both, good, and the gameplay and the mechanics of it all worked really well. Obviously, the open world is just great. Apparently, for Spider-Man 2, the open world will be like twice as big. Having, I think it was the Bronx as well.
So it's outside of that Manhattan.
Yeah,
sort of.
it's not just Manhattan now. It's beyond that, Brooklyn and Bronx, something like that. But it's going to be huge. So the villains in it are Venom, Lizard, and Kraven the Hunter. Eddie Brock is not Venom in this, so it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out story-wise. It takes place about 10 months after, Miles Morales had his big fight with the Tinkerer and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Releases October 20th. I know you're excited, so I'm not going to ask that question. I know you are going to play this game, so it's not a question either. What do you think about these little story elements, considering it's following on mostly from the Spider-Man PS4, the Peter Parker one?
That's good. Yeah, you've played the gameplay, eh? Or not played. Sorry, seen the gameplay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thing. Yeah. It's the way that they're going, based on that gameplay. I think it's going to be very interesting. They're bringing the characters from Miles Morales into this, and then obviously Peter. Peter looks a lot more darker. That's probably because he's wearing the Venom suit, and that's what the suit that's what the symbiote does to you. You know, fucks your head up.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I'm quite. No, I don't even need to address that. Of course, I'm excited for it. Eddie Brock not as being Venom is interesting, and it makes me think if they're going to go for like a shocking swerve, it's going to be like Harry Osborn or someone like that.
Yeah.
As Venom, which is cool if the shock works out when you're playing throughout the game. But you can't really have Venom without Eddie Brock, really.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it can work.
Yeah, I do like those villains. I assume that those are the main villains and not just all the villains.
Yeah, they're like your story villains. Similar to how Doc Ock was in the first one.
Oh yeah, that's cool. It's cool to see Kraven and the Hunter getting some spotlight, because I know that he's been rumored for a film, or in the films way before his actual film got announced, for decades, and he's barely been in any
been nothing,
been in nothing, and he's actually a really interesting villain. So the way that now that they bring him into this game is really, really cool, and I can't wait to fight him and hopefully play as him if they go in that direction.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited at this. I can't wait to see what the story's like. I feel it is going to go in the direction of obviously Peter mentoring Miles Morales.
Yes. Yeah.
And then he gets infected by this Venom suit, and then he starts snapping at Miles and starts to push him away, and Miles is just
Yeah.
And then there's going to be a big moment there where Peter does something so bad, and then everyone's just like, what the hell? And he gets rid of the suit or something, and
Spider-Man 3 right there.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. But I have faith in these guys doing it a lot better than Spider-Man 3.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, I think my biggest, not concern really, but biggest shock, surprise was Eddie Brock not being Venom for me. What about you?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen some wild theories, like Mary Jane will be Venom, or Doc Ock will be Venom.
I've seen that as well.
Yeah. Which, I don't want them to repeat the same villain. I really love what they did with Doc Ock and how things played out in the last one. this might actually be a case where I go and play the
first one
again, just for the story, or I'll watch like a recap online or something like that.
That's probably what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I don't know if I had the time to play the entire gameplay again. But I think the Spider-Man story in the first one is one of the best Spider-Man stories, at least outside of a comic book page. It's right up there with, No Way Home and Across the Spider-Verse and Spider-Man 2, obviously. So, I definitely have faith that they'll be able to handle, the symbiote side of things, but better. Where they go with Venom and what the human identity is there will be very interesting. Might play a critical part in the role. Could be Harry Osborn. I don't know. Kraven the Hunter, I'm really excited to see him as a player, or not a playable, but like a character, villain to fight and all that kind of stuff. Lizard is an obvious one.
Yeah,
I don't really care for it that much, but I think the battles that you can get with, Peter Parker and Miles Morales fighting Venom are going to be super cool. Really dynamic kind of gameplay.
Yeah, we saw in that gameplay trailer as well. And if that's just a taste, then fuck, we're in for a wild ride.
And just the fact that you can play as like both of them kind of at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of like that GTA 5 where you just switch to another character. I think that's cool. It's something that really excites me. But yeah, I have full faith that they're going to do the story justice here, and it's going to be a good time. Yeah. But I wouldn't recommend waiting for me to finish the game for this one for you to play it. Buy your own.
No, I would definitely be buying it because, you know how I like to platinum games and stuff. And I think Miles Morales, when it came out, I saw those reviews how it's more like a DLC. So I was like, I can wait for that.
It's because I bought the PS5 day one. I got it at the midnight launch.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you took like a few months to get yours. And so I already had it and finished it. So I was like, yeah. But no, it should be good.
Should.
Yeah.
Another one to platinum, hopefully.
Always good. All right, we got some more exciting news. Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling. Barbie 2. No,
fuck yes!
Not Barbie 2, but they are leading another movie together again. Which is kind of cool. They're kind of taking over Hollywood in a way.
Is it actually confirmed what you're about to announce? I haven't seen anything about this.
I believe so. It's an Ocean's 11 prequel movie. It's described as an old-fashioned epic love story adventure set during a heist on a yacht at the 1962 Monaco Grand Prix.
Fuck, that's interesting.
It sounds like a great time. I don't know if it is going to be a spin-off of Barbie. I don't think it will be, but
imagine.
It certainly sounds like a good concept. You excited for this one, or excited about the news of it?
Yeah, I am excited about the news for it. I mean, that concept, I just said it, it's very, very interesting, a yacht and the Grand Prix as well, and the fact that it's like based on the Ocean's sort of franchise. I mean, I feel I'm a big fan of the Ocean's films. Really? I enjoy them. Those heist type of films. They're always fun to watch.
I don't like heist movies. Oh, I do like heist movies, but I don't like the Ocean's franchise.
Don't you?
No, I've just
I know
never vibed with it.
Ocean's 8 wasn't as good as the first two.
Yeah, because Ocean's 13 was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm a big fan of those because it's just something we don't see every now and then. So obviously seeing this is going to be refreshing.
Yeah.
Based on the trailers for Barbie, I think Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling do have that sort of on-screen chemistry.
Yep.
So obviously opinions will change once you see the film because it could easily be just showing the best bits.
Yeah.
But if they have that same chemistry and a very good chemistry, then fuck yeah, this is going to be an awesome movie, I reckon.
Yeah. I don't know any other details about it. I've just seen it recently. But yeah, I mean, Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling alone, they're great actors. And then I think if you put them together, they're going to be even better. I think they just seem like they really complement each other really well.
Yeah.
And, with this one being like a old-fashioned epic love story / adventure, I think, I think they're going to make it work pretty well, especially as those two leading it. Yeah.
Did they put a time stamp on it? Like when it's set?
24. Oh, that's the 1962.
Oh, 1960s.
Monaco Grand Prix, yeah. So it's going to be old fashioned in terms of set design and stuff like that. And so in terms of incorporating Formula One there, it's not going to be anything like you see today. Like the cars are like little like little buggies. They're not that great. So
it's like bobsleds almost.
Yeah. They look funny, but it's not. It can't be done in a way where it's super fast during this time. So how they incorporate the Grand Prix aspect of it will be interesting. But yeah, having a heist movie is refreshing from like what we get usually these days, as you stated before. And I think when you really do pull off a great heist movie, they're great.
Yeah.
And you got these two leads here, just don't waste them. But then again, we saw Ocean's 8 had some of the like most talented actresses of all time, and we saw what happened there. So it's not one where I can immediately be like guaranteed success. I need to see the director, the writers, and cinematographer,
more information.
Yeah, a lot more information, and it may make the ladder one day.
I was gonna make a fucking joke about that.
I bet you to it. So yeah, one we're looking forward to, and one that we are gonna have our eyes moving forward as more information starts coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on now to Poor Things by Yorgos Lanthimos. The full trailer's out, just only a minute and a half, but it's a minute longer than that teaser that we got a few weeks ago.
100%, yeah.
This showed a lot more. My expectations are very different to what I thought it was originally going to be. We watched the trailer just before together. What do you think of it?
Yeah. If another trailer comes out, I don't want to see it.
Yeah. I'll leave the rest in suspense.
Yeah, this looks absurd, wacky, out of the gate. It looks like an acid trip of a film. Like you're getting so many different types of like camera styles, filters as well. Like it goes from like color to black and white to pastels. The CGI is purposely not good, but it's like so creative that it is good. Yeah. It's just insane. The story concept is insane as well. Like I think Emma Stone is going to knock it out of the park here. I think she's going to be fantastic as this role.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of this director's work, so I'm not quite familiar with his work, but just based off that trailer, I'm quite excited for it. I'll be more than happy to make this my first film that I watch for his. And then I'll probably end up going back and watching all of his previous stuff that he's done. But this should definitely be on everyone's watch list. Keep an eye on it and watch it.
Yeah. Yorgos Lanthimos, he does great stuff. The Lobster and The Favorite, obviously being his two best. Favorite was like a dominant force in the Oscars, so yeah, you can kind of count on him to make good movies. With this one here, the trailer just gives you everything you need, and it really does show you his kind of style of directing.
Yeah,
you said it before, just a really wacky style, all over the place, but it works. You got like the fisheye lens at points, and then it's just all these kind of styles merging together. I would say he's very stylistic as a director, not to the same level, but very close to Wes Anderson. When you see a Wes Anderson or like a frame from Wes Anderson's movies, you're like, yep, that's Wes Anderson directing it. You just know it. He's almost at that level where it's just so unique and it just fits in with what he is and like how he is as a director. So yeah, it's something that's like very exciting to me, alongside having, such a like a high caliber cast. Emma Stone, Mark Ruffalo, and Willem Dafoe. They're obviously all going to be great in what they do, and Emma Stone's worked with him before in The Favourite, so they're obviously going to have a good working relationship and bring out. He's going to bring out the best of her, and it's something that she could look into, like for a best actress by the end of the year for that.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's going to be too weird for the Academy. There's some stuff in there that's like, well, this is very interesting.
I mean, Everything Everywhere All at Once was, you can say it was weird for the Academy, and look how well that did. You could somewhat say similar to Parasite as well.
Yeah, they do buy into some things that are weird, but I mean, we saw this thing like a duck with four legs, just like in this. Yeah, so like all these like mixed animals and stuff like that. I don't know if the Academy will get with that, but distributed by Fox Searchlight, and they're pretty prominent when it comes to Oscar campaigning and all that kind of stuff. So if reviews are good, this should be able to catch wind and go off there, especially with something like Asteroid City kind of falling off the fence there and not being what looks to be an Oscar contender.
Yeah.
There's room for competition. Yeah. And finally, we're going to cap things off with very interesting story. Jake Paul, one of the guys that I very much dislike in the internet kind of stratosphere. He'll be starring in his feature debut. So the film follows a small town youth rising to international fame through combat sports. So he's obviously a boxer and has a pretty good record. But yeah, what do you take away from this? Is this a good role for him considering what it's about?
Is he a main?
Yeah, he's the guy.
Oh, he's the guy.
Yeah.
Eesh, okay. Jake Paul is a fantastic entertainer. He's on the likes of Conor McGregor, and The Rock before he got into acting, those sort of like wrestling sort of promos and making you entertained. In terms of like going into acting is so different from entertaining. It's like peas and potatoes, whatever, it's so different. So in terms of the concept, it's pretty much right up his alley, I mean, he has a passion for combat sports with him in boxing. So it's familiar territory for him outside of his comfort zone, which is acting. I can't really comment on anything else until we actually see a trailer.
Yeah.
It's the same as the film that Conor McGregor is going to be in. I mean that's still, similar, it's still based on combat sports, which is familiar territory for him, but he's never acted before. So it's outside his comfort zone. So maybe when we see a trailer for that, we can somewhat make a judgment on this. But for then, sure. Go for it, Jakey.
Jakey? Don't call him Jakey. Well, the plot, it fits Jake Paul, and I guess it's kind of semi-autobiographical in that sense. He was just some random person, and then he blew up on YouTube, and then went to boxing.
Did he blow up for himself, or did he blow up because his brother was Logan Paul?
He blew up because Logan Paul, but I think he's blown up even more than what Logan Paul is
because of the combat sports, and just even I think the YouTube internet career as well. Right.
But they kind of did it together, so they got quite a close relationship through that. But yeah, he didn't rise up to fame through combat sports, but through his internet fame, he managed to get into combat sports. So he can apply some real life experience to his character. But I just don't see him as an actor. He just seems like,
I think he's just too cocky,
Yeah. Whether it's an act or whether he is like that, I don't see him being much of a genuine person. I just don't see it. So if it's all been an act this whole time, and if he's just doing it for the entertainment side, as you said, he's just not it's just not going to work. But if he, we've seen Dwayne Johnson, John Cena, those kind of really
Batista.
Pardon?
Batista.
Yeah, really get serious about acting. If he was to do that, then perhaps. I don't see it, but I'm not gonna discredit someone without seeing what they can offer first.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'll be open to it. It's a good it's a good plot to really start. It's a good starting point, and then we can just really see where he goes from there. That's all I can say about that. But yeah, anything else to add for that one?
Nah, not really.
No. Fair enough. Well, we've talked about Jake Paul on this podcast, so you know that we're going to end it there because we aren't talking longer. If you guys enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow us from whatever platform you're listening from. Turn on those notifications, never miss another one. Chuck us a follow on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, support us and support the show. Before we sign off, we want to hear your thoughts. Did you agree with the 2024 most anticipated ladder? I certainly think it is objectively correct. But if you disagree, come over, chuck us a message on Twitter. We'll talk about it. Head over to moviegames.com for all 4K movie reviews, box office analysis, and coverage of award season. Remember to sign up for our weekly email newsletter to stay up to date with us on a weekly basis. Thanks again for joining us, everyone. We'll catch you next time. Keep bringing the hype. Peace.
See you later.